Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenter is Miss Lilian Tong. Miss Lilian Tong is the Museum Director of the Pinang Peranakan Mansion, President of the Persatuan Peranakan Baba Nyonya Pulau Pinang, and Deputy President of the State Chinese Penang Association. She is a recipient of Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated's Lifetime Achievement Award for Cultural Advocacy. A practicing Nyonya, she has demonstrated Nyonya crafts and performed at the Shanghai World Expo, curated a Baba Nyonya exhibition at the National Museum of Taiwan Literature, a full-scale Baba Nyonya wedding for BBC, and Dondang Sayang Cap Gourmet for National Geographic. The Republic of China's government invited her Sayang Sayang Nyonya dancers to perform at the closing ceremony of the ASEAN-China Belt and Road Cultural Conference. She has authored 4 books on Baba Nyonya cultural heritage, including an anthology of Penang Baba Nyonya stories from the last century. As a panelist in Malaysia's joint initiative with Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, and Brunei to nominate the Kebaya to UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity for 2023, she will be sharing with us on the Nyonya Kebaya. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Lilian Tong.
Good morning, friends. Now, as I was sitting in front with Pearly Key, she leaned over and said, "Ayo, see lo, iki orang Nyonya gong Hokkien wa. Our Hokkien is so chapelang. Is chapelang a Hokkien word?" then I leaned over to her and said, "Hey, I was wearing mask just now. So is my lipstick black hair or not? So is black hair a Hokkien word? We don't know." So when we first came in and the songs that we're singing, actually it's quite foreign to us because we don't speak that kind of Hokkien. We speak the Baba, Penang Baba, Nyonya Hokkien. Okay, let's start. So what has Hokkien got to do with Baba Nyonya and Sarong Kebayas? Well, let's see. First, Nonyas are Baba Nonyas are mainly from the Hokkien community, although there are some from Teochew. And when you see women like this in Penang or KL or anywhere else, what is the first thing people will say? They will say, "Hey, Nyonya." So the Kebaya is synonymous with the Baba Nyonya, the Nonyas. So, and it is very special because we think that it belongs to us, but actually it doesn't belong to just us. Now, in Penang, we still wear the kebayas. As you can see, so many ladies in the room wearing kebaya. So can we have all the ladies in kebayas stand up, please? Whoa! So, yes, and I think that's very special to Penang, which is why we won the Georgetown World Heritage Award for Penang and Malacca. We won it under the category of historic cities of the Straits of Malacca. And that's because we are the living heritage, the Babas Nonyas in Penang. Okay, so today we still wear the kebaya, mostly for birthdays, tuasan ajit, and wedding, which I'm going to have one this Friday for a friend. And weddings. Now, a lot of people are having kebaya themed weddings. And this one was done in 2021 during around the end of COVID. Joe Side actually did a Peranakan Penang event. And there were all the turnouts in kebayas as we danced the ronggeng. Then, in Malaysia, not only the Baba Nonyas wear kebayas, the Malays also wear kebaya, and this is an exhibition by my friend John Ang in Singapore, in Kuala Lumpur, I think last year. He did the splendor of Malay textiles. Okay, And Hokkien and Kebaya have one thing in common. We have a shared heritage in Southeast Asia. So in Southeast Asia, most of the countries in Southeast Asia, they speak Hokkien. And the ladies also wear the sarong kebaya. And it is a very unifying factor for us in Penang, as in Southeast Asia, to have all our sisters in Indonesia, Thailand, Burma, Brunei, wearing kebaya. Now, when I was in Kuching, I also noticed, I went to the museums, and there was a section where the people wore kebayas. And so my daughter serves in Sarawak with the Ministry of Health. And then, so one day she wore kebaya to her medical event, and she was the only one. But the next time she went for an event, she said there were at least 20 people wearing kebaya. So I really salute the ladies who have turned out in a morning like this, wearing their kebaya, because it takes time to wear the kebaya. And because like for my daughter in Kapit, which is a very small town in Sarawak, to be able to influence the people in the town to wearing sarong kebaya. So that is what our Penang Nonyas are doing, influencing people to see how wonderful and beautiful you can turn out in a kebaya. Now next, the kebaya is going for UNESCO listings. We have submitted it and nominated it, and by 5 countries: Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Brunei. We are jointly submitting the kebaya as an intangible cultural heritage for UNESCO. And so today's forum is also in support of this. Okay, so our other sisters in Indonesia, that's how they dress in kebaya. Well, the earlier ones that we know of are the Dutch ladies. So they found the weather too hot and humid, and so they made this baju, which is actually made from Dutch lace or white, so that they can match with any colored sarongs. And so they wore it, and actually they had a problem wearing this because the Europeans did not really welcome Dutch ladies or European ladies dressing in kebayas. So when they actually, going back to Holland, as they were passing the Suez Canal, they changed back into English dresses, Western clothes. And then again on their return journey, once they pass the Suez Canal, they will then return to wearing the kebaya top. So this is the earlier kebayas. And of course, Indonesia actually did not earlier want to join the Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Thailand group for submission of kebaya because they claimed kebaya was their own. This is from the movie Kartini, a new remake of the movie Kartini. And the women back in those days, those that were for independent Indonesia, it was a political statement to dress in sarong kebaya, and especially the kebaya. So it became a political statement at that time. And there are other types of kebaya. So when we were going for kebaya listing, Warisan, the National Heritage Board, came and said, they were going to call it kebaya pendek, submitting kebaya pendek. And I said, no, because if you put kebaya pendek, it's too limiting. And then we Nyonyas will say, no, it's our kebaya sulam, kebaya Nyonya. So there will be so many tussle, about how to name this thing. And so I told them that kebaya is the best, like it's very encompassing. So the kebaya is not just like what I'm wearing, this is how the Indonesians wear it, or rather the Balinese and the Javanese. And I tell you, this is really beautiful. Now, it is also found in Burma. And so this is a Burmese lady, and the next picture also shows you a Burmese lady. And also in Thailand. So the picture on your right is a very famous couple that got married this year in Phuket. The lady is wearing the sarong kebaya, and this couple is famous because their wedding was like, wow. She wore baju panjang and it cost like so much. And she's a famous transgender who married this man. So this was a very high-profile wedding because the man came from a very well-known family in Phuket. And then recently they had a Peranakan festival in Phuket, and so that's our Phuket sisters wearing the kebaya. Now, kebaya and Hokkien. So we have Hokkien words that we use for kebaya. We say kebaya is kebaya. But before kebaya, we were wearing the longer baju panjang, which we call the teng sa, right? Because it's long, teng sa. Then the kebaya, we call it pua teng te, because at that time it was long, and then it is not short up to your waist, but it's a bit lower down, so it's called pua teng te, half long, half short. And if you don't pin your kebaya properly, you will really end up with a pua teng te like this. So if you don't pin your kebayas properly or match the flowers, then it will be a real pua teng te. Yeah? And of course, later we have, earlier we also have kebaya renda, which Chinese, I don't know, cannot pronounce L as in lolly. So it's a kebaya lenla po. And for those kebaya biku, which is just having embroidery around the edges, is chiapi. And chiahua is the full works, the whole kebaya. And of course, what the Indonesians wearing, the Malays call it kutu baru, or Indonesians call it kebaya kutu baru, but we call it kebaya Bandung or Saloma. Okay. So today, kebaya has evolved, and like any other cultures, if it doesn't evolve, then it's going to die. So it is a living heritage and living culture, so it has to evolve. And today, this kind of very beautiful work, kebaya, now you can see the bunga, the kerawang and the sulam has gone really up. And of course, these can cost like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 ringgit. And one of the earliest pioneer who did this kind of kebayas is Jojo Ngau from Indonesia. So today, we can buy kebayas in Penang, but usually they are imported from Indonesia. And it is a very symbiotic culture, as in we need the people to run kebaya shops, like Kenny Low and Ang Eng in KL, and Raymond Wong in Singapore. We need them to run the shops so that we can buy our kebayas. And the people who sell kebayas, they need us to be wearing kebayas in order to import them and sell them, or even make them. So we need the people, like Yo Soon Hin was saying, creative economies. We need these people, and they need us too. All right, now we are going to show how we are going to dress up in a kebaya. But first, let me tell you that very importantly is the material, color, and design. So you choose your colors. And one of the ways Nyonya choose colors is that your sarong has to pick up the colors from your kebaya. So I'm wearing purple with orange, or kind of pinkish orange, but I don't have purple in my sarong. But the birds and the flowers in my sarong have orange color. So it picks up the orange, and then it goes. See? And also, it picks up the green from the sarong. So that's how we match colors. Okay. And then, the kebaya fit and length. So those days, all kebayas were cut, and the pattern was in a different pattern called potong kot, which means that the joints and the seams are not at the sides like today's kebaya. They are behind, just as the way they cut the suits and the coats those days. So it goes this way. And actually that gives a very nice silhouette waist for the ladies. But today, not many tailors can do that cut. Then we have, all right. Then we have mirrored embroidery for your lapels. So how do we not get our poteng te turning out pua teng pua te is make sure that the flowers match. Can I have my model? She's back here, Pohun? Pohun is one of my dancers. I got hand back. Okay, so Pohun is wearing a kebaya, and you can see from her kebaya, first, the sarong, our sarongs have got two parts. One is a full length, and that's called the badan. And the shorter pattern is the kepala. So we normally wear the kepala in front and the badan of the sarong behind. So it's a different color. So this is a smaller, the kepala is a smaller piece. And the kepala is not worn just like overlap. It has to be like at least 1 hand length, width away from the side. The tailor didn't know how to sew. And then the kebaya is matched. You see the bunga, the hua, the chia hua, 2 flowers, 2 flowers, 2 flowers. So it has to match, to not end up one teng one te. So it has to match. Then you know that it is matching. Okay, it's level, both of them. And now we are going to pin on the karosang. Just this morning, I had somebody talk to me in the toilet and saying like, why is it when I pin my karosang, it always chow it will, because we try to pin it sarong, because sarong seems more, will appear slimming, okay, tip, will appear slimming. If you pin it straight, then the eye goes this way and you look a bit not so slim. So she says, why sarong kebaya, why kebaya chow when I pin my karosang? So you see, this is a word from the Malay, kerongsang, but we don't say the wrong, we say kerosang. And what you do is actually, we secretly pin pins behind, in between, to hold the kebaya in place. Then we pin the first karosang. And a lot of women find it a lot of problems. Sometimes it's like, what's wrong? What's so hard about pinning a karosang? But you can spend a few minutes in front of the mirror trying to get your karosang right. So she has pinned her first karosang. She knows how low or how high she wants it. The next one is to pin the last karosang. Then after you have the first and the last, and standing in front of the mirror, you can kind of gauge where the middle is. So do not pin your karosang too far down. It makes your body look too long. Pin it a bit higher above your navel, then you look more proportionate and actually younger. So in the same way with kebayas. Those days the kebayas, this part will be very long and sharp. But now we are having it very short because it's more fashionable and it actually looks younger. Then, after this, we have the kotua. You see, the kabayas are made without nails, without zips and hooks and buttons. It is all using jewelry. So the Nonyas very clever. They tell their husbands, in order to keep me modest and decent, you have to buy me some jewelry for my kerosang, my tali pinang, and everything else. Yeah. So put on the yeah. So make sure the kerosang is equally spaced. Now, the wonderful thing about our Nyonya belt is that it fits all waist sizes. So it's like hook. So if you are slimmer, you go make it smaller, and if you are broader, you can go further. And also, the interesting thing about this belt, our tali pingang or kotua, I must remember to say kotua because Jack Ong is here. He's a purist. Must say the Penang Hokkien term, cannot say tali pingang. By the way, Jack Ong did a very wonderful colloquium on Hokkien for our state Chinese anniversary. He put together speakers like Tunku Sapora and Dr. Tan Sui Beng and himself, and they presented on Penang Hokkien with Catherine Churchman, who said that, a linguist from New Zealand University, who said that back in those days was 40, so now it should be 30 years' time, Penang Hokkien will pupus, will be lost. Okay, so thank you very much, Po Hun. And so, that's our Penang Kebaya. Now, what's the difference between Malay Kebaya and Nyonya Kebaya? A lot of people went out to buy Kebaya, and then they turn out at parties and they say, oh Lilian, look, I'm now in a Nyonya Kebaya, but they are in a Kebaya, but not Nyonya. Now the Nyonya Kebaya is like this. The lapels are from the collar down, and when it reaches your about navel, it actually turns flat. The Malay Kebaya goes all the way. So next time when you choose a Kebaya, you know how to see whether it's a Nyonya Kebaya or a Malay Kebaya. And of course, with Po Hun, for Nyonya Kebayas, we have accessories to go with it. Remember the kerosang and the kotua? Now we have a next one. Okay, so this is a book I wrote on gold jewelry. And we need all the blings that we can put on ourselves. So you have your rantai and your earrings and jewelry. And Namlung has one of the best, most intricate and well-made Nyonya jewelry today. They still make them. I'm not paid by Namlung to advertise, no. So, and to finish off our kebaya, we need beautiful kasut manik. So Penang, yeah, you can get kasut manik, but now the prices have gone up very high because the Singaporeans are spoiling the market. And this is our dancers in ASEAN China Belt and Road Conference, and we are now going all out. Penang State was one of the first to lead in all the webinars and all that for Kebaya submission to UNESCO before. Now we see that Malacca and Singapore are doing it, but Penang was one of the earliest. Okay, so these are the books I've written, and okay, again my dancers, but these are together with the China nationals. And they love, do you know, since Little Nyonya, there is a Nyonya mania happening in China, so they love kebayas. And this is one of the first kebaya for UNESCO project we did for Warisan and the Ministry of Tourism. And look, kebaya makes for happy people. And kebaya makes for people who live for a long, long time, till a very old age and still so vibrant. This is taken for our Peranakan convention. Used to, before COVID, we have it annually. And you see the senior ladies, they can joget and dance and ronggeng the whole night. And one of them is our Molly Mark. Are you still in the room, Molly Mark? Can you stand up? Molly Mark is 80 plus years old. And I tell you, she does a mean ronggeng. 90! So wear kebaya and live to an old age and keep on your ronggeng. Okay, so thank you very much.